For decades, medicine treated the human body like a machine built from distinct interchangeable parts, a collection of independent organs operating in isolation. In reality, the body operates as a strictly unified system. Every physiological function is synchronized to a single, inescapable rhythm dictated by the Earth's day and night cycles. This system is engineered with one primary, uncompromising objective: self-protection and survival. We routinely ignore this biological reality, assuming our physical architecture can simply be subordinated to modern schedules, artificial lighting, and endless productivity. When we force our biology to conform to our modern habits, the system fractures. We cannot outthink our own physiology. This diagram illustrates the two specific endocrine regulators that govern our daily biological clock: cortisol and melatonin. A precise alternating handoff between these two chemicals dictates our transition from active wakefulness to restorative rest. During this rest phase, the body is not passively shutting down. Sleep is a highly active homeostatic process required to maintain baseline physiological function. Depriving the body of this necessary rest triggers a specific chemical chain reaction. It degrades the gut microbiota and directly impairs cognitive operations. Consistent, structured sleep is the absolute requirement for maintaining both gastrointestinal and neurological health. To understand this connection, we have to map the specific anatomical framework linking the brain directly to the digestive tract, the gut-brain axis. This axis is entirely bidirectional. The brain issues commands downward, and the gut continuously sends environmental data back upward. This communication relies on four distinct channels. The first consists of direct neurological pathways, firing electrical signals between the two centers. The second channel operates through endocrine signaling, using hormones to transmit specific biochemical instructions. The third relies on immunological responses, immediately alerting the system to potential biological threats. The fourth utilizes humoral channels, transmitting data through the body's circulating fluids. Under healthy homeostatic conditions, these four channels maintain a constant, balanced exchange of biological data, keeping both systems perfectly synchronized. Treating the gut or the brain as isolated regions ignores this massive four-lane biological highway governing our daily function. When we introduce a single disruptive variable, sleep deficiency, this balanced communication network immediately degrades. Without adequate rest, the body is forced out of homeostasis and pushed into a state of physiological emergency. The body contains emergency levers designed for acute, temporary survival situations. But contemporary sleep deficits trap our biology in a chronic, ongoing state of alarm. Being trapped in this state causes a severe dysregulation of our baseline chemical balance. This chart tracks the immediate consequence: a sharp, dramatic upward spike in the stress hormone, cortisol. This surge of cortisol does not stay contained. It rapidly cascades downward along the endocrine pathways directly into the digestive tract. Sleep deprivation acts as a severe biochemical trigger, flooding the entire system with endocrine stress. Looking closely at a cross-section of the intestinal wall, we can observe the precise physical impact of this elevated cortisol. The sustained chemical stress causes the tight junctions between these barrier cells to literally pull apart, compromising the lining's structural integrity. Clinicians refer to this mechanical failure as intestinal permeability, commonly known as a leaky gut. This structural breach allows unprocessed food particles to slip directly through the compromised barrier. Worse, it permits the passage of internal toxins directly into the flowing bloodstream, bypassing the body's normal filtration. At the localized level, this breach produces symptoms like painful bloating, stomach cramps, and newly developed food sensitivities. Once those toxins enter systemic circulation, they provoke widespread inflammation that radiates far beyond the digestive tract. The physical integrity of the intestinal wall relies entirely on the hormonal stability that only adequate sleep can provide. This diagram shows how localized inflammation and circulating toxins ravage the gut's internal bacterial ecosystem. As the gut lining leaks and inflammation rises, diverse strains of healthy microbiota rapidly die off, leaving a severely diminished biological profile. Because the gut-brain axis is a two-way street, the damage does not stay localized. This low-diversity microbiome begins transmitting compromised, erratic biological data back up the communication channels to the brain. Receiving these degraded signals results in a measurable, immediate impairment in cognitive processing. Simultaneously, the broken communication loop disrupts secondary endocrine functions, causing the hormones that govern hunger to spike. This specific hormonal failure drives an unnatural, elevated appetite, disconnecting our drive to eat from our actual metabolic needs. Conditions stemming from this biological cascade, ranging from chronic insomnia to systemic inflammation, drive massive healthcare expenditures worldwide. A degraded gut biome inevitably compromises brain function and metabolic drive. The entire network is intrinsically linked. Comparing the stable baseline on the left with the disrupted state on the right, we see a single, unbroken chain of cause and effect. Sleep loss triggers a cortisol spike, which breaks down the intestinal wall. That permeability strips away microbiome diversity, which ultimately sends degraded signals that impair the brain. Viewing these conditions as isolated problems relies on an outdated, modular model of human biology. The human body operates as a strictly unified survival machine, built entirely around the uncompromising cycle of day and night. Our intellectual assumptions and demanding social schedules hold no authority over these chemical boundaries. Achieving true physiological harmony requires aligning our behavior with our internal circadian design. Good gut health begins, inevitably, with sleep.